and that is writing a book that grows your speaking business. So my question to you is, did you know that you could write that your book could literally be the key to getting more paid speaking opportunities even before it's published? This is what I want to know. And in the next 10 minutes, I'm going to share with you how you can write a book that does so much more than inspire, right? It will get you on more stages, it will grow your brand, and it will increase your income. So, if you've been following my journey for a while, then you know that I was a middle school language arts teacher for about 12 years. I was a middle school language arts teacher for 12 years before I came into this form of entrepreneurship. I actually come from a line of entrepreneurs, a family of entrepreneurs, educators, and ministers. And so I had different businesses over the years or whatnot, non-emergency transportation, retail and apparel, even dabbled into the food business because my family came from has franchises, right? However, my gift and my skill set has always been writing. And so I have never been that extroverted type of person, that person that, just geared towards speaking and lights up the room. I've always been the person that played the background very, very well. I played the background very well. I was very good in operations, very good with organizing things, very good with telling other people what to do, but staying in the background. So, of course, when I started this business of actually, packaging my expertise in a way that it turned into a business, I learned very quickly that there were a few things that I had to do if I wanted to have success in this area. And one of those things was that I had to master marketing. I had to embrace marketing. Actually, three things. I had to embrace marketing. Number two, I had to embrace being visibility, being visible and not just being in the background. And the third thing that I had to do was that I realized that I had to get comfortable speaking. I had to get really comfortable speaking. Now, the crazy thing is, when I was in high school and when I was an undergraduate, I was always speaking. I was always asked by professors and others on the staff to give presentations, to be a part of panels. So clearly, they saw something in me 20 something years ago that I didn't see in myself. So, full circle, coming into entrepreneurship, I had to reach back into that piece, into that speaking bag. But let me tell you, it wasn't because I was seeking it. I had written a book. And once I really started promoting the book, I started getting asked to come speak about things, right? And every time I spoke, I realized that I would sell books. And from the books, I would get people into other offers. And so very quickly, I learned, or very organically and very quickly, I learned this funnel: show up, be visible, speak with confidence and authority over my topic, sell an offer if the offer is a book, a low cost, and then upsell into another offer. And so I didn't know at that time, when I started with my very first self-published book, that I would go on to build to generate multiple seven figures. I didn't realize that I would be featured in the media, have coaching clients, help coaching clients, do the same things. But it did. It did do that. And it did that because I wrote my book strategically. It did that because I wrote my book strategically. And that's what I want to share. I want to break down with you all today about how I actually did that and what that looked like. Okay. And so I'm really excited, super excited about this today. So let's get into it. I lost my place in my notes. So let me find my place in my notes real quick, y'all. I'm sitting here on my tablet. I always use written notes. Okay, here we go. All right. So Today, I'm going to share with you some strategies that you can use if you want to write a book that grows your speaking business. Now, I will say this because in my industry, I have seen, come across, met a lot of published authors. And I will say that just because you've published a book, it doesn't mean that that book is going to position you for additional opportunities. It doesn't mean that it's going to position you for speaking opportunities. It doesn't mean that it's going to position you for coaching clients or anything like that. Your book has to be written strategically. So I'm going to get into what that looks like. Okay. So, or what that can look like. Okay. Number one, you need to write your book based on your framework. You need to write your book based on your framework. So your framework is like your signature sauce. It's your signature secret of how you've been able to either help yourself, help your organization, or help clients, right? Achieve an outcome. It's your signature system. So if you look, and here's the thing, a lot of high achievers never sit down to think about or to consider how they do the thing. They're just so head down into doing the thing where it's like you know it like the back of your hand. But if you take some time to analyze and assess your processes, you will realize that there are certain things that you do. There's a routine that you do it very strategically that aids you in getting and obtaining the results and outcomes that you achieve. Well, those core steps that you take to repeatedly obtain those results and outcomes, you have to package that into a 3 or 4 part system called a framework. And what you do is you make sure that you write your book based on your framework. This way, you're positioning your book to solve a problem instead of only telling your story. Okay. And when you write your book based on your framework, then you'll actually be able to structure your book, or even structure your book based off of a keynote, or even structure a keynote based off of a book, because you know the course strategies that you're going to teach. You have stories and real life examples to pull from. You have tips and strategies to give. It makes this process extremely easy. Okay. And also, when structuring or framing your book around a framework, you now have a structure to it as well. Because your framework, you got to look at it like a sandwich. Your framework is the meat. That's the core part. That's what's going to help people get results. And the meat goes inside of a bun. So I think about it as like the top bun is your introduction or your opener. The meat of the sandwich is your framework, your strategies, your signature system. And the bottom piece of the bun, that's the closing. And so that's how you have to think about a book. That's how you have to think about a signature talk as well. Oftentimes people think that the book and the talk are separate instead of realizing that it truly goes hand in hand. Because once you write a thought leadership book, you're going to need to talk about your book if you want to expand your brand, if you want to build awareness, if you want to expand visibility, right? And for those of you all who are already speaking, and if you want to capitalize on your speaking opportunities financially, you're going to need books, because books will allow you to, number one, generate income for organizations that may not have a speaking budget. They oftentimes have some type of learning and development or book budget. You can still get paid. And even when you are getting paid from your proposals, you can always bundle in books to get paid more. I have clients that have made upwards of $3,000 or $4,000 additional in addition to their keynote or their training, just because they had books. I have clients that have spoken for free but they've been able to sell 400 books in a bulk order and still generate $8,000 to $10,000 for an hour of their time. So not having a book is really positioning you to, like, you're putting yourself in a position where you're decreasing your income. And right now, especially given the economic and political climate that we're in, you want things in your business that can recession proof your business. And having a book is the key to that, especially when you know how to position it correctly. Okay. Having your book, having a thought leadership book, positions you above the rest because it's truly proof that you know your stuff. And I'm going to say this, especially with AI out there, because there are a lot of people talking about, oh, you can use AI or chat GPT to write your book. I know how to use AI very well. There's still, it's going to sound AI-ish. Chat GPT will give wrong information. It will give you trademarked information. It will give you trademarked information that's been trademarked or even copywritten by other people. It's going to have gaps. It lacks story. It lacks the personalization, and it lacks the humanness and the depth of knowledge. It can give surface level information, but it cannot provide depth of knowledge, which is what you provide when you write your book. Okay. The second tip, when you want to write a book that's growing your speaking business, is to make sure that you solve one specific problem for one specific audience. One specific problem for one specific audience. We're not putting our entire life story into a book. We're not putting our whole entire professional career into a book. We're not doing that. We're not writing. This isn't a memoir. This is a tool to expand your brand, to amplify your income, to make massive impact. So this means you need to focus on the one problem, one outcome for one audience. How does this relate to your speaking business? Because speakers get booked because they bring clarity, they bring value. Yes, it's a form of entertainment, but you also, because you're able to identify the outcome of your talk. Okay. And again, you'll be able to use your book to showcase your framework or your system. Okay. Tip number 3, if you want to write your book to grow your speaking business, use your book as a conversation starter. Your book is the beginning, not the end. You leverage your book as a conversation starter, not as a conclusion. Okay. So again, we're not just writing to share information about ourselves. We're not writing to share about all of the experiences and injustices that we faced. We're not writing because it's some type of lofty goal or because it's some type of lofty idea that we've had and it's this childhood dream, not in the thought leadership space. We are not writing just to share. When you want to write a book that's growing your speaking business, this means that you are intentionally writing, like before you even begin, before you even write a single word, you're writing your content with the intention to lead your readers into workshops. You're writing your content with the intention to lead your readers into speaking topics, into speaking engagements. You're writing with the intention of generating media conversations. You're writing with the intention of gaining coaching clients. This means that you have to be proactive, not reactive. You have to think about the end goal of your book before you write a single word. Now, does this mean that if you've already written a book or if you're already writing a book that it's too late? No, it's not too late. But do know that if you have not implemented some of these marketing strategies and messaging strategies that I've shared with you, and just even focus and targeting strategies, there are going to have to be some adjustments and some pivots that you make on the back end. But there might have to be some lifting that you do on the back end in terms of marketing and automation systems that you may have to do on the back end that could have been handled had you had certain elements in place on the front end with your book. Okay? Like, when people read your book, they need to know that there's a next step to working with you. And it should really, it should provide value, but also leave them wanting more. Have you ever read anybody's book before? And then afterwards you're like, oh my gosh, that was so good. Let me go look them up online. Let me see if I can find their LinkedIn. Let me see if I can find their YouTube or their Instagram. Let me see what else I can find. Let me see if I can find their website. I've done it before. Read books that were absolutely amazing, where I immediately either went and looked for other books by that same author, or I went to Facebook or I Googled their name to see what else they had, to see if there was, any way that I could interact with them and get to know them on a different level. Your book should be a funnel for you and for your business. Okay. So I'm going to go over these again. Okay. 3 tips to write a book that grows your speaking business. Number 1, write your book based on your signature system or your framework. And you can use this framework to write your book, to create your signature talk, to sell your signature talk and communicate the value, and more. Number 2, make sure that your book solves one specific problem for one specific audience, because that's what your speaking should do as well. A lot of speakers are not attaining success because you're trying to speak on too many topics. You have about 15 topics that you speak on, and you are a master of none. What you absolutely need to do instead is to focus in on one core topic based on your framework, and you make the adjustment to that talk through your examples and your stories based on the audience. So the title of the talk never changes, but the stories and the stories that you share, the examples that you provide, the tips and strategies that you provide will be modified based on your audience. But in order to do that, you need a framework. You need a signature system. And that's how you can become a highly impactful and highly paid speaker without having 15 and 20 talks and you're burning yourself out at both ends of the candle by trying to sell all of them. One specific problem for one specific audience, and you use your framework to do that. And number 3, use your book as a conversation starter and not as a conclusion. So listen, if this resonated with you and you are ready to turn your message, to turn your expertise into a book and use it to build a speaking and coaching business, I have 2 powerful ways to help you. The first way is the 7-Figure Bestseller Summit. Now, 7-Figure Bestseller Summit is a 1-day in-person event to help you package your message into a best-selling book. Okay. Now, this is going to take place Saturday, July 12th in Metro Atlanta, Georgia. It is in person or only. The wait list is up right now. Tickets officially go on sale on April 15th. But if you're on the wait list, you get early bird access to the tickets 48 hours before they're available to the general public. Okay. So what you can do, you can go to jasminewomack.com/7FBS waitlist, or you can just drop waitlist in the comments, and then me and my team will come in and give you the link. All right. That is the 7-Figure Bestseller Summit, Saturday, July 12th. We only have 100 seats in the building. The wait list gets access to early bird tickets, and tickets go on sale on April 15th. The wait list will get access to the tickets 48 hours before they're on sale to the general public. So if you want the best deal or the opportunity to get the best deal, I'll say that, make sure you join the wait list. The other way that you can work with me this month is through the Write Your Book, Skyrocket Your Coaching Business Workshop. Now, this is a virtual workshop to help you write a book and grow your coaching business. And if you're interested, you can secure a seat by going to jasminewomack.com/skyrocket. we start the Write Your Book, Skyrocket Your Coaching Business workshop on Monday, April 21st. Okay. I think it's the 21st. I'll double check that date, but I believe it's the 21st. Okay. So if you have any questions, make sure you drop them in the comments or the chat below. And me and my team will come back in and make sure that we are answering your questions. Okay. I'm seeing these. I'm just now seeing all the comments coming through Facebook. I appreciate you. Who is this tuning in from the Bahamas? Love it, love it, love it. You're here from Ohio. Love it. Yes, yes, yes. Whoever that is giving the recaps. Loretta says, this is what I need. Loretta on YouTube says, this is what I need to work on is to get comfortable speaking. Listen. I've been, it's coming. Loretta, if you have to get your book finished because you have writer's block, I definitely encourage you to actually come to both. Come to the Write Your Book, Skyrocket Your Coaching Business workshop and the in-person experience, the in-person experience, the 7-Figure Bestseller Summit that's in July. I'm telling you, you'll get out of that writer's block. You can have your book done literally in a matter of days. We've had clients to have those level of breakthroughs after coming to the workshops and live events that we offer. Okay. You guys have a great rest of your day. I'm headed out to have some spring break fun with my son. But you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you all soon.